Hey guys, this is Dami24 and welcome to another episode of Becoming a Better Tanker. Um, in this episode, I don't need to go through the whole spiel, do I, about what it's all about and everything? I think you guys are getting kind of tired of that. But in this episode, we're going to talk about Malinovka, map strategy and Malinovka as a standard battle. Now, I've covered this before as an encounter battle. Let's show you right here, Malinovka standard battle. Covered this before as an encounter battle, but I think they've taken the encounter map out of the game right now. I'm not quite sure. I know it's been a while since I played it anyway. Basically, encounter mode is one team starts on the top here, the other team starts down in the field here, and they attack. Just go through my videos, you can find it. Or I'll put a link in the description or some kind of jazz if you want to take a look at that. Now the difference between this and this map and that one is obviously the two teams start opposite each other on this field. You can see our flag's right there. The enemy flag is over here. This field right here in front of you is a huge killing ground. You see a lot of times, scout tanks will just fly across that field or whatever and get killed right away. Usually during the first 30 seconds, 45 seconds, there's a lot of action that happens across this field, and then it kind of settles down and it slows down for a little while. Now this map or this video is going to be chock full of information. Not only am I going to go through the map strategy in general, I'm also going to be talking about placements of tanks in this one, various strategies, and what kind of tanks should go where. And I'm also going to be talking about some other things, namely communication. This episode, not only did the previous Becoming a Better Tanker with the Alter Your Strategy have very good communication in it, this one also had very good communication, and the team, the pub game team listened. So this one's also going to be very good for that. You also see some other teamwork things, some good things, some bad, but it's going to be chock full of information, so it's probably going to be a longer episode, and you might want to watch it twice to make sure you cover everything, get everything. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, the key to Malinovka is the hill. The hill's right up, all the way up here. You can kind of see it. Let me bump the map up here. The hill's all the way up here. If you're looking at the mini map, I'm circling it. And basically, the reason why that hill is so important is because you control basically this entire, I guess, little little village area in front of it, all the way to each forest on either side. You cover basically half the map. And you can see, as I was saying, the scout tank's already out in the field, and the tanks are shooting back and forth. So the hill is very important, and not only that, from the hill position, you can sweep right down into the enemy's rear lines, which is also obviously very important. Now, as you can see, you got your typical split, where you got a really good split. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 heavies going towards the hill. You've got 2 heavies sitting back with 2 mediums sitting back. The T-71 is up here spotting. Excellent position for him. And we got the 1 RD. Each team has 1 RD, as you can see. And I have a 1 RD in the forest in the back. Very good split. Now, as I just said, the hill is extremely important. Well, because it's so important, medium tanks in particular have a very important job. Especially for the first, in this map in general, but especially for the first, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, something like that. And that's to get to this windmill and take the windmill before the other team does. Now, as you can see, I didn't do that. I came up here, and you're going to see in a second, I did the good teammate thing and pushed the IS-3 up the hill. That's one of the sub-minor points in this game. Help your teammates out. If you get a fast tank and you're not going to beat somebody to the spot or whatever, push the heavier tanks up. While, yes, I'm slowing myself down, I'm also speeding him up, and he's got a bigger gun. It could do a lot more damage than I can do. So that's why it's important for me to push him up. Likewise, be a good teammate and push your teammates up, or push them around or whatever if you can. Now, see, the 50T got up here before I did. I waited at the very beginning to see what the split was going to be before I went. So I kind of negated my impact at the beginning anyway. If you're not going to wait like I did, you got to get up to this hill as soon as possible if you're a medium tank or if you're a fast heavy. The reason why the hill is so important, we're gonna get into that 1 second. I'll show you the different angles and everything. But essentially, whoever wins that corner wins the hill. And again, I'll wait till we get into the corner, till we get up here. When you're on the green team or the southern team, ride up the hill on the back corner, right along the border of the map. It's going to give you a little bit more protection, as you can see here. A little bit more protection from people shooting at you. The second important position for a medium tank, there's one up here. That's the #1 spot. But say there's another medium already heading up there. Go into this little, I don't know, let's just call it the village. I'm just going to call it the village there. Go into the village and spot on the other tanks that are driving up here, or like this T-71 is doing, they're driving up the opposite side. This will allow your heavies in that are slower, that are in the background, they're just emerging from the forest back here or back here, to shoot at the guys on the opposite side. When you get in here, if you're the medium tank or the fast heavy, but 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a medium tank, don't shoot. You don't want to give your position up. You're not there to try to do any damage. Just because you're going to get spotted or whatever, and then you're going to die, right? Just spot them and try to allow your teammates to get some shots. And again, if you're driving up this side, don't go along the road. You're going to be a nice silhouette there, and you can take a lot of shots. Get in the back. You can see here, it's going to be much harder for them to try to get a shot on you. And if you're one of these slower tanks, you can generally shoot the guys when they come up right around here. You can't get them when they're really coming out of the forest. You can get them when they're starting to come up the hill. And on vice versa, if they're right along this area, you can usually get a shot on them. If they're right along the road, if they're in the back, it's much harder. So here we are, first contact with the enemy. And this is essentially the game deciding point. Now I told you that the hill is very important, and in particular the windmill right here. There's one of 3 ways that this is going to play out. Say you're playing from the southern team and everything's going to be from my point of view, from the green team. Say the red team takes this hill first, right? They're behind the windmill, and we come up, and if you've played this map before, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll come up right here, and then you'll start seeing their guns, and they'll start shooting at you, and next thing you know, you're backing down the hill, shooting up, and then you've conceded the hill. You've lost the hill. And all they have to do now is just steamroll you. Conversely, you can do like we did. We come up to the top. This 50T is in a beautiful position behind the defilade, shooting at the Carnarvon and their 50T to keep them from coming up to the top of the hill. So now they're going to back down, and they've just conceded the hill. That's the second way. The third way is both teams arrive basically around here at the same time, and there's a huge fight just in this area. It'll go back and forth a little bit, and eventually one side will get the better of the other and push the other side down the hill. Now, obviously that didn't happen in this game. We took the hill and they gave it up right away. That's not going to happen very often, but it just did in this one. Now the reason why I said medium tanks are so important is they come up here, and perfect position for the medium tank would be right where this 50T is. Shoot at these guys. And their goal for the medium, say it was me, say I got up there and I was the only tank up there. My goal isn't to knock out the Carnarvon. It's not to knock out the 50T. It's not to knock out anything except for maybe a scout tank and maybe do some DPM or something like that, or some damage on a medium tank. I'm not there to destroy anybody. I'm there to just hold the ground long enough so that these guys, the slower tanks, slower heavy tanks, can get up there and help me out. Now obviously you can't get this, you don't get to see that happen in this game because it's just the way it is. Just the way this game played out. And vice versa, let me pause it again. If vice versa, say it was a red team medium tank, sit on the opposite side of the defilade and just shoot at these guys here to try to keep them pinned back here. Keep them pinned back here to hold them up for your heavier tanks to come up here and pin my team or people from my perspective. Right on this corner here, let them come all the way up and then push them back down. So again, the 50T got there, he did a great job. He got right up behind that defilade, took a couple shots, did some damage, and they conceded the hill. We have a tremendous tactical advantage now. And vice versa for the other team, you would have a tremendous tactical advantage. Now, if you've seen my other map strategy video on this, you can see I'm coming right into this little area. There's a little defilade here, perfect spot for you to sit, pop up like I'm gonna do. You can see in a second here. Pop up like I do here, get a couple spots, and back down. Well, just dodge a third shot there. Get a couple spots and back down. Your job's not to get any shots on anybody. Your job is to just spot them, and that's all I'm doing. You see, I've not taken any shots. If you're those heavy tanks, sit on this ridge right here and shoot down on the guys that the medium is spotting, or whoever, scout tank or whatever it is. Shoot down on those guys that are spotting. This is a beautiful position. These guys are playing a very good game. They come up, they take their shot, and what do? They back off. It's incredibly difficult to try to maneuver shots from this field to come all the way up, just graze the top of this I don't know, this earth here, this little defilade or whatever, and hit a tank. Very difficult. And then backing up makes it even more difficult. See, look at the IS-3 doing it. Takes a shot, or the 50T take a shot, they back up. You can see I dodge a arty shot there. They take a shot, back up, doing it over and over and over again. It's excellent play by them. Very good. You see I don't take any shots. I just pull up, take a peek down, and back off. T-34, he does what you're not supposed to do. He comes right up, and what does he do? He sits right on the top of that hill, right on top of that defilade, takes a shot down. Now, if you saw, watch this T-32 here. So let him get in position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sit up there 4 seconds. T-34 was only there for a second or two because of the arty shot. But they're sitting there for a solid 4 seconds. There's no spots on anybody down here. We have no idea what's sitting in that village. We know that the Ferd was earlier. He just had a nice silhouette, the top of that nice, beautiful tank, 100% tank, sitting right out in the open for tanks to take a shot at. Don't do that. Sit on the side like these guys are doing, get a shot off or whatever, and back up. Now you can see as the game is progressing, our heavy tanks are getting in a better position. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that, bro sniffs. For some reason, Fraps likes to just take a dump after 10 minutes. It just goes from, for some reason, 30 frames to 4 for some strange reason. I got this thing overclocked to 4.4 gigahertz and all that kind of jazz. But in any event, you can see that the heavy tanks moved up to a better position to shoot down onto these into these guys down here. Now, I'm taking off out of here to get down to see if I can't get a spot into that forest, because those tanks, the enemy tanks, went into the forest and are now far enough back that you have to get down in there a little ways and try to get a spot on them. So I was just going to come down into here, but I decided to make a run for the church up here. And you can see that they are up on the hill, shooting down in there. The low sitting way back. IS-3 is still in the back too. Critical hit. As far as the rest of the map goes, we have 1 heavy left, 2 mediums. That's the low right here. That's the IS-3 right here, and then everybody else up on the hill shooting down in, and that's myself obviously, and Artie in the woods. So now I'm just trying to keep a proximity spot on this T-26. I think it's like what? I want to say like 50 meters, I think it is. I think it's like 50 meters if you're away from them or something like that, and it'll keep a spot on them if you're within 50 meters, that is. So I'm basically just trying to keep this guy lit up for my allies. And you can see right there that 152 just destroyed that T-32. So you know that there's still some dudes sitting in these woods up here, and I take a shot. T-34 spotted him. Now here's the other thing is these tanks moved up, phenomenal. IS-3 is still kind of far back, although it was definitely really far back. Although he did just get this kill on the T-26, he's still way out of position to try to help us. Whoops, wrong button. IS-3 is still far back. This IS-3 is far back too, and that's all she wrote for me. Now look, we have the 50T over the hill. We've got a spot. There's Carnarvon 1%, Fur at 67, T-34 at 49, and here we go, the leg spike again. And again, she goes right back down into like 5 frames per second. I don't understand it, but okay. So you can see that these guys are low on health. We have the 50T that came up. The T-34 is up. IS-3 is not too far behind. This IS-3, even though he's closer than the low is, he's still out of position. See, at this point, all we have to do here, sure, we're down 1 tank, but I mean, come on, 1%, not that big of a difference. All we have to do here is 1 strong push. We're behind all of these dudes, and we're just, game is over. That's it. But we have 3 people lagging from the front. So now what's going to happen is there's one of them, and soon enough there's the second. So all that those guys accomplish in doing sitting that far back is allowing 2 of our strong tanks to die. That's it. Remember the whole thing about concentrating your fire? Well, if we had, let's see, 2 plus those 3, if we had 5 tanks over this hill, and they have the 1 Carnarvon, an Arty, so it's not even count that, either of those 2, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, if they would have had 5 of their own, it would have been a completely different game. They could have got a couple shots in that T-34, knocked another one out, then it's down to 4 tanks, and so on and so forth. But that didn't happen. These guys sit back and, I don't know, talk about the weather or whatever. So now we get into one of these prolonged trench warfare-ish kind of battles where this side is going to move up a little bit, and that side is going to move up a little bit. Take a couple shots here, a couple shots there. Remember where I said that there comes a moment when, not necessarily comes a moment, but if your teammates are pushing and they're doing a decent push, go with them. Push with them. Now the low, while the low's done a terrific job. You see, he just knocked out another tank, but he's too far back. This is a tier 8 game. He's a tier 8 heavy, and he's sitting in the far back. He should have been up further, at least into that city where the IS-3 was earlier, so that when I pushed up, those other 2 heavies pushed up, the 3 of them could have all came over along with it, and this game would be over right now. But in any event, I'm still in the game, as you can see, calling out where tanks are and everything to try to help out the team. And again, this is a good showcase of excellent communication between a team. I'm saying Arty's back here, and so on and so forth. You're going to see it more as time progresses. So as things stand right now, it's evened up 8 on 8. We've got 2 IS-3s, one at 67, one at 100% health. This IS-3 is in the far right in the forest, and this guy is just getting into the forest. We have the low in a kind of like a center-ish position. He even backed off for some reason. He's got a phenomenal defilade right there, and he even backed off. Probably because he was taking shots from up here. T-34 is on the side, and we have two T-26s in the back doing who knows what. And we have an arty in the back. At this point, basically what we're doing is we're constricting them. You can see we're pushing in theory, from two sides. The south and the east. Although these guys should have been pushed up a little further, it'd be a lot better off. See, we've made mistakes here. There's no doubt about it. We made mistakes. But on the whole, we did a good job. They're sitting around their cap, probably a few guys in the forest here, a couple guys right here. And they're just being squeezed. Where we are the metaphorical snake constricting its victim. IS-3 does a good job, gets in there. Gets a spot on that T-34. Oh, there's the arty that pops up. And arty's going to be out in a second. Call out the shot there. Okay, now it's 9-9. T-34 over there is down to 3% health. And I'm hollering here, you know, help this guy out. Help this IS-3 out. We have an IS-3 here. We have a low back here. And what are they doing to help him out? Should be getting shots on this T-34. If this T-34 is dead, he's got what? 5 seconds or so before the spot's gone. Now, the low did destroy the other low. That is good. But we could have knocked out that T-34 by working on the IS-6 trying to save another tank. And he's talking about mediums not moving. Lorraine's also doing a good job. So now we're up one tank, but basically they've got the four heavies. We've got 2 heavies, 2 mediums, and the artillery. And we're not in the forest at all. We know that there's one dude in the forest, and we have the IS-3 sitting here. So now the next thing I start saying is telling these 2 mediums to come up this side here. You can see me doing it right there, calling out H1. Say, don't go to cap. Come along this side and get a spot for arty. We are up a artillery. They don't have artillery, right? Use your assets. If you're assaulting, artillery is a godsend. You get a little spot, artillery throws a shell down, bada bing, bada boom. You don't have to worry about sticking your neck out there to get shot. So, let's speed this up a little bit while we wait for people to screw around. See, look, I'm saying, just get spots for arty. We don't need to try to brawl. We have the artillery, and they don't. So they're moving up. We get a spot on the T-32. Let me slow back down to 1 time. See, just 1 kill at a time. Just take 1 enemy at a time. We wouldn't be in this position if we would have just done that fast rush. Especially if we would have done the fast rush coming over this hill right here, and these two T-26s pushed at the same time. We'd attack from 2 directions. They would have been off kilter, and we would have outnumbered them. Outnumbered them very quickly after destroying the arty and the 1% Carnarvon that was there. That is. But we didn't do that, so now we have to slog along slowly. Again, I'm telling these guys just to go along the riverbank because there is a nice riverbank here that offers a lot of protection to tanks on the sides. You don't have to be driving right up in the middle to stick your neck out. Just drive right along the side on either team, get a spot, and let arty throw a couple shells down on the target. And again, the key here at this point in this late stage of the game, when you have only 4 tanks or 3 tanks or 2 tanks, whatever, at these stages of the game, you just gotta go nice and slow. Don't force things. Be patient. Kill 1 enemy at a time. It's not everybody has to rush in there. You see this all the time, right? There's 1 tank left, or there's 3 on 1, or 4-on-2 or whatever, and they all rush in there, and they don't wait for their teammates. For example, in the previous Becoming a Better Tanker video, you saw the Black Prince, instead of waiting for other tanks, he just went out there to try to knock out that Yog Tiger 8.8, and he gets knocked out instead. Slow down, take your time, move as a team. These two T26s are doing a very good job of doing that. And again, I'm still sitting in the game calling out last spots where I've seen these guys, congratulating them for good shots and everything. Being good team members, also, saying, hey, good job and all that kind of stuff too. See, this is where the low has to get up there and help him out. The low has been sitting back most of the game instead of doing that. IS3 is getting a couple shots, but that's just because of the last spot based on the IS6. And then soon enough, the last T34 will be spotted, and that will be game. There he is. There's a shot. You can hear the artillery shell go by, and the low gets the last kill. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The key to this map is the hill. And the key to the hill is getting there first and trying to ward off the enemy team, or at least making a fight over, or destroying them and taking it. Don't give the hill up. You need to go nice and slow, and even if you lose a couple tanks up there, if you can wait and delay the enemy long enough for your big bad boys to get up there and take the hill with you, or to support the other mediums, at least then you have a fighting shot. These guys conceded the hill to us right away, and as soon as they did that, they were on defensive. They were choked up. They were bottled into this forest back here. We came up, got some spots on them, started knocking out one tank here, another tank there. Sorry about that, guys. Again, Fraps did it again. But as I was saying, you start knocking out one tank here, one tank there. You constrict them like that. You force them to not be able to maneuver as much, and you can take them all apart piece by piece. But the key is the hill. So with that, please like, comment, subscribe, favorite, tell your friends, tell your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, your boss, whatever. And let me know down in the comments if there's a particular map that you want me to do a map strategy on, and like a specific mode or a specific map, or from a specific team or whatever like that. So again, please like, comment, favorite, subscribe, and all that kind of jazz, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.